Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Before we get started, make sure you check out homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com. Check out our traveling schedule as well as the resources that we have available for you. Also, quick shout out to a couple of our sponsors who are mission to ensure that you do not do homeschool by yourself. So, Classical Conversations is a nationwide curriculum that not only offers curriculum, but they also offer community support. So, check them out because they're literally everywhere. And Base Camp. Base Camp is a brand new app that launched in February. It is free and it is community driven. It's like Zillow, but for families. You can find families near you who have kids the same age as you and all that good stuff. Like you could look and have resources, community resources. So it's pretty awesome. Today we have with us Christian. Christian, introduce yourself.
My name is Christian Ray Flores. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And I'm not even getting paid, unfortunately, for this, but we use classical conversations all the
Oh,
way through. We
really?
did, uh-huh.
Okay, so you homeschooled.
So shout out to classical conversations to CC.
Oh, all right. See, okay, right. See, I told you I know where this is gonna go. Look, boom, right out the gate. Here we are.
I know.
So, besides being an author, you are a homeschool parent.
I am. We homeschooled 13 years, all the way through.
Why?
Mm-hmm. Oh, why? Well, we have three daughters. Our oldest was not homeschooled because when we decided to homeschool, she didn't want to do it, and the youngest two were, and they're all out of the house now. I had this. I have a strange childhood, right? I was sort of a free range kid. I grew up all over the world, and I spent a lot of time sort of exploring, playing, all of those things, right? Being creative. When I was a kid, I grew up in Africa. I grew up in Latin America, Europe, and Africa, three continents,
All right.
four countries. Um, and that really I remembered how I grew up, and we were in Los Angeles at the time. Our youngest, our middle child, was in first grade, and I would take her from school, and then I would pick her up. Let's say, I don't know, 2 p.m. or something like that, right? Then she would play for maybe an hour. Then she would have to do homework. Then she would have dinner, and then she would go to bed. And I remember I don't remember childhood being like that way
All right.
for me, right? And I remember, and at some point, I just I got mad. I walked into the office of I think it was the not homeschool, homeroom, right? Teacher, the main person. And I'm like, what's going on? She's 7 years old. You're giving her homework. She doesn't have time to play. And she goes, well, it is what it is. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. I'm like, look, she's not going to do homework. You have her for the best time of the day, for the most creative, the most high energy time of the day. When she's home, she's home. She's going to play. And I walked out. And basically, that was sort of the beginning of the whole thing. I rebelled against the system,
Mic drop.
basically. Yeah, I rebelled against the system. And Deb and I, we're scared to death. We wanted to decide, when we're deciding. And she gave me, Deb was like, what if we homeschool? We're like, what are you talking about? We're not qualified. We're going to ruin them. All of those things, right? All of the normal sort of objections that people have when they consider that. And she gave me this book, and it's literally called The Little Book of Big Reasons to Homeschool, which incidentally inspired a book I wrote literally last year called Little Book of Big Reasons to Love America. I just stole the line, right? Because I thought it was just it was a fun line. And I read the book probably in about 2 hours. It's like a booklet, really. And it's a little book, actually. So we're in the living room. She gave me the book. I'm like, all right, I'm going to read it. So I'm on the couch. I read the book. I put it down and say, okay, let's do it. And that was basically it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so this is with your second and your youngest.
Yeah. It was my middle child. And of course, the middle child and then the youngest also, yes.
Yeah.
She started being homeschooled before she was in first grade because we were like, okay, we're batching this thing, right? So they started together.
Okay. And how much of a role did you play in it?
I was secondary for sure because I'm the guy who was trying to provide the sort of the time and financial flexibility to do so. So I was bivocational at the time. I had run a business. So Deb is the superhero for sure. But I guess my role was beyond sort of homeschooling. I created a home-based business because of it. Because I, even though I didn't do all the classes or most of the classes, I was around all the time. So they were around me, I was around them, and that was one of the core principles that we wanted to adopt, right? And part of the reason why I even do what I do now, I coach people in creating essentially online businesses in about 9 weeks, is part of the reason is that freedom, the ability to be with family, right? The ability to choose where you go, when you go there, etc. So I was focusing on building that business. Deb was homeschooling. When they became a little bit older, I started I started plugging in a bit more. For example, for economics, I have an economics degree, so I would just do stuff with them. And we traveled a lot. So a lot of it had to do with history and geography. That was sort of my department, right? And we we developed sort of this rhythm of going all kinds of places internationally, nationally, etc. That was a big deal for the education. And then informally, so this was not part of the curriculum. I did this thing, and it was born out of like an idea that I had in a moment. So Deb was like, "I'm done. Go put him to bed." Right? She's with him all day, and the handoff. Right? I'm done. I'm so very done. Uh, Go put him to bed. I'm like, all right. So it became sort of my job to put him to bed. So I would read him stories normally. And then I remembered I was doing that, and I remembered when I was growing up, my dad, I didn't eat well. So during lunch, it was not bedtime, but he would tell me, sort of developed a story so that I can eat, so I can, like, I forget about not wanting to eat. And he was like, look, if you want to hear the story, you need to eat. And so he would give me this endless, and it was based on a real character, Robinson Crusoe, from a book, right? But he made up the story, like beyond the actual story. So he would give me like a new episode every lunch for a while. And I said, I'm gonna make up a story. So I literally put down the book and I said, once upon a time, there was a brother and a sister. Their name was Christopher and Olivia, and they lived in Argentina, and they had to travel to see a distant relative in somewhere else. I don't remember what. I think it was Australia, and that sent them on a journey. And so I came up with it on the fly and told them that episode. And then for 2 years, I told them it's the epic story of Christopher and Olivia, and that's how I taught them geography and history
Nice.
because they would travel places. So then I would show them on the globe of the trajectory, all the dangers, all the historic things. Then they discovered a time machine like midway. Because I'm like, I need to find some historic events that they can go to. But so if they're living in one era, they can't go to others. What if we give them this magic crystal that they found in Egypt? So they basically would go and see how King Tut's tomb was discovered, how the Eiffel Tower was built. They would hang out with Charlie Chaplin in the silent movies. They would visit ancient Crete and talk to Socrates in Athens, and even some ugly stuff. Like they would go to Brazil and see the slave markets of the African slaves. So that's how I taught them geography and history. Long
That is
answer.
really awesome. No, that was a great answer. Because it birthed from you wanting your children to be free, basically.
Yeah, I wanted them to be free.
That
I
is
wanted,
so dope.
yeah, I wanted them to be outside of the conveyor belt.
Yes, yes. And that's a lot of our reasons. I know mine are along those lines. I definitely want them to be free and free to be them.
Yeah.
essentially without the, the molding, the
Yeah.
standard molding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. Okay, so what was the end result? Did your girls appreciate it? Did they ever desire to go to, public school? Was that ever a conversation?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, mainly because of the Disney Channel, right? They were
Mhm.
like, I want to go to that. I want to do that. And I'm like, that's not actually the real thing, honey.
Right.
Hate to break it to you. And
Damn
yes,
Disney.
yeah. So we did give him, there were moments where we considered it either out of frustration, like Deb on more than one occasion went, I'm so done with you. I'm going to drop you off at the local high school tomorrow or Monday, something like that. She would threaten them with public school or something, and uh, and then of course she didn't mean it, right? But every once in a while they would bring it up because they want, oh well, I want the kind of experience. And what we did is we said, okay, maybe 1 year at a time. It never happened actually, and we provided them with a lot of social circles that compensated for that.
Nice, because you did mention that y'all did classical conversations. So were you in like their
Yeah,
community?
exactly. So we have the CC community. There were dancers, so there was a dance community. There was a youth group community. I mean, they had more social life than most kids in public school. So
Right.
that was not a problem at all. But also we've seen. I mean, there were. I think that we had this one when they were in. We wanted to enhance an area, let's say math, which like both Deb and I are creatives. We're not math people, okay? Especially high school level, that's it. It's over, right? So we'd take him to a homeschooling math focused 1 day a week kind of thing for a period of time. And so we would take him to those, and some of those homeschoolers were really weird. So there's a strange, there is a subculture in homeschooling which like gives all of us a bad name, right? So I'm like, man, those kids are real weird. So yeah.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. I just actually had that conversation about outsourcing math, because I'm
Hmm.
not a math person either. But I feel like that's our like high school wise, I feel like that's the parents' fear. It's like, oh, I can't teach my child algebra or
Yeah,
trigonometry or
yeah.
calculus. Like, I can't do that. And so it's like, but they're talking about a child that's 5 years old. So it's like, wait a minute, we
Oh,
don't
come
have to
on
go
now.
that
Yeah.
far. Yeah, like we
N-
don't have to jump that far yet.
No, you don't. No. Yeah, so it was great. And the end result was they are extraordinarily well-rounded, just extraordinarily off the charts. They look you in the eye. They look way older than their age when it comes to social skills. They can carry a conversation. Socratic method is like in their blood, which basically means they can convince me of anything. Like I'm not exaggerating.
Great debaters.
Oh yeah, they're great debaters. My middle child Vivi, who I was referring to, recently, I was going to sell a car, and it was a nice car, and she just graduated from college, and I put her on the market, and she's like, "I need that. I want that car." And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is an Audi A6, child." And she goes, "Dad," she wrote me an actual persuasive essay,
Oh,
attached an
yeah.
Excel sheet with a budget, and convinced me. Now she's rocking an A6. Okay, she's
Oh,
yeah. So I
I
couldn't
love
resist.
that.
I couldn't resist, right? So, but
I
those were
love
skills that
that.
were developed during homeschooling, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and they did really well in college. I mean, honor students, presidential scholarship, all of that stuff. Which the biggest fear I think for us was that I mean we're gonna like totally ruin them, and they're not gonna be academically incapable.
Yeah.
Oh, they crushed it. I actually
Nice.
literally got a text from Bella, my youngest, when she went to college. She went to Texas State here in Austin, south of Austin. She's like, "Dad," and she does like "Dad," separate text, big letters, "Dad," all capitals. I thought, I thought college was supposed to be hard. Like she's all sassy. And but it's true. It was not hard for them actually. It was not.
That's like a general consensus, really,
Yeah,
across the board with homeschoolers. Like the conversations I've had with homeschool parents that have college, well, their kids have gone to college. It's always
yeah.
like, oh yeah, no, I thought this was gonna be hard. Like this is easy. Like
It's
you were
so
harder
easy.
than this, mom. Like, things like
Totally,
that.
totally. Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
they were
love that.
and they were more equipped. Like I
Yeah.
remember dropping them off in college, and I mean, and I think some of it is just age, right? The impression we have. When I went to college, I was like a young man. When I went to drop them off at college, there were like children walking in,
Uh,
into the door going, "You're children. You're not supposed," that kind of thing. That's my impression. But actually, in when it comes to skills, so many of the kids who are dropped off in college don't have skills, like adulting skills. They can't. I mean, they can't cook, they can't clean, they can't do their laundry, things like that. My girls knew all of these things way before they even went into a dorm, right? So for them, it was like, what is wrong with you guys? Basically, this is easy.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so that's another dimension.
I was gonna say parents don't realize, like, a lot of parents equate them doing everything for their children as to love. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I love them so much. I'm gonna do their laundry. Like, oh, you got your child doing chores. Like, no, I love
Yeah,
my child.
yeah,
It's like, no, you're handicapping them because they're like, what are you gonna do? You going, like you said, go to the dorm with them and do that stuff? Are you gonna go to their apartment and do that stuff? When are you gonna equip them to be able to independently do that themselves?
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's honestly, look, I'm telling you, the three most I say that to people. I'm like, what are the best decisions you've ever made in life? Number one, follow Jesus. Number two, marry my wife Deb. Number three, homeschooling.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
awesome.
And I
How did,
totally
let me
mean it.
ask you this. How does your oldest daughter feel about the younger two being
She's
homeschooled?
she was she's okay. I mean, I think she eventually became a little jealous
That's what I was wondering.
but the thing is, when we first did it, we are like, hey, let's do it all together, and she didn't want to do it because she was in a high school. It was sort of a sexy high school because it was a performing arts magnet in LA.
Oh, okay. Not, oh,
So
yeah.
like we can't really beat that, right? And she was a dancer, and so she was in like, she was jamming. She was in a good place. Then she went to a private, also very. It was actually, she was sort of semi homeschooled in the sense that she went to very small, a lot of personal attention kind of places. So she got maybe like a version of that. And but she never really wanted to be homeschooled. I think what she was jealous of is how tight the younger two were, and they were also closer in
Uh,
age. So they, so it was almost like this sibling thing. When somebody's way older and she's a few years older than they are, there's a disconnect a little bit, right? They adore her, they're like, and they annoy her, as well, right? So, but then when they grow up, they're super tight because they grew up together. And she's like, well, I don't have that. And I'm like, yeah, but it is what it is. So yeah.
oh, yeah. But they can still have it. So hopefully they grow into,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Because once you get to adulthood, it's like the ages blend. It's
I
like
think
you're
so.
just
I
an
think
adult.
eventually,
Like you're
yeah,
just an
that
adult.
the gap disappears.
Yes, indeed. So, okay, with this, because like you say, you're building the foundational support that allows your family to be able to do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
economically.
yeah.
Let's talk about the little book.
Oh, well, the little book actually doesn't have anything to do with it. That was just a thing that I wrote because
Okay.
I'm an immigrant in America, and I think it was right around COVID, post COVID. I just felt that Americans became less grateful for where they lived.
Mm,
And to me, and I think most immigrants feel that way. Most immigrants going, "What is wrong with you guys? This is a great place, right? It's not never going to be perfect. No, I mean, but please go travel. Get some perspective, and come back, be grateful." So it's basically a book about that. So it's not really related to anything I'm doing professionally. It was just almost like a creative output. Wanted to share some stories and things like that, and there's some crazy stories, obviously. But what I do for a living, I do coaching. I do coaching in personal brand development, and basically the
okay.
idea is that um, more than ever before, you're able to create an online business where you share your expertise, and you can serve anywhere, anytime, at anyone. And that's actually becoming more easier than ever, more profitable than ever, but also more necessary than ever now, because the things that you can commodify, AI is commodifying. So with the AI revolution, a lot of the work, even white collar jobs, are going to be reduced greatly. Let's put it that way. Not wiped out, but reduced greatly for sure. So,
Indeed.
so the best way actually to succeed and to have the freedom and to have sort of the economics that support the values that you have is to create something that is unique. So standing out has never been not only easier than ever, but also more necessary than ever. And that's basically what we do. We coach people. Okay, what's the expertise that you have? We can get you. We obviously ask you a lot of questions before we make you an offer. But when we do, if you go through the program, in about 9 weeks, you'll have a business model on how to create a personal brand.
Okay, and you asked before we started this what parents or what my listeners need.
Yeah.
A lot of them I know want to know how to do this
Oh,
and
really?
still
Yeah. Yeah.
provide. Like, they want to know how to homeschool and still provide for their family. Because
Yeah.
it's like
Mm-hmm.
most homes are reduced to a single income, and then we have single parents like myself
Mm-hmm.
that are the sole providers for their kids. And then it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, how do I make this work? So yeah, that level of expertise is needed. So
It's very
okay.
needed. Yeah, it's very needed. And I was raised by a single mom, and my I learned entrepreneurship from her.
All right.
Because she hustled to
You
to
got
make
to.
to make it happen. Yeah.
You got
So
to. Okay, so you brand and coach. Okay, what got you there? What got you to say, okay, this is what people need. This is what I see is going on, and I'm gonna provide a solution for it.
well, it's a combination of, and this is actually a case study of what we do for other people, right? We are the worst judges of our own value. Like we're the least qualified people to understand our personal value, right?
I like that.
And the reason for that is because it's so familiar and it's easy for us, which is why you have expertise. You have something that others don't. So what you do is you need to develop some rhythms, some even a mindset of creativity and freedom and joy to even see what is there to mine, so you can productize that and offer it to the world, right? And so I was a high achiever early on in my 20s. I was an artist. I was very creative. So I got into personal branding. That was literally my first career. I became a pop artist over there in Eastern Europe. And I knew all of that. I produced other bands. I entertained millions of people. So I developed those skills like in my 20s.
You
And
have lived, sir.
oh yeah, yeah. I've seen a lot of life. But my point is, at the time you do it instinctively, but you don't understand the power of it, right? So you develop. Think about this: if you're a successful musician, so in my case, it was musicians, music. You write some songs. That's intellectual property. There's only one of you. There's only one album of you specifically. If you're able to promote it well, and if you develop even the lifestyle to create something really good, and a lot of people like it, they pay you over and over and over again for the thing that only you provide. And you've already productized it. So all they do is buy an album. You don't do more work. You don't spend more time. They just buy an album. Or you go do a show, right? So one to many. And there's 10,000 people in the room. They all buy a ticket to do something that you didn't work extra for. You do it in every city. So, like, of course, that's an example that most people will go, yeah, right. Easy for you to say, right? But that's actually can be done with expertise. What do you know how to do well that you can teach others to do? And most people just don't even, they just get paralyzed even at the question.
Right.
But if you have some mastery in something, you have some expertise. Then on top of that, what you can do is you can package that expertise in a unique way that is only yours. Now, the problem with that is that most people don't understand what's uniquely mine. I'm an engineer, or I'm a plumber, or I'm whatever, right? But what I can tell you is that you will get paid more to teach others to do the thing than to actually do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
A plumber can be paid by the hour. There's only this one range. A plumber who has a YouTube channel who teaches people how to plumb can be a millionaire. It's that simple.
Oh, and that is the world we live in now.
That's the world we live in. Yeah. And people just don't do that. So they don't see what's the unique expertise, the unique voice, how do they present it? Something that is you're a category of one, right? So
Why do
for
you think that is, though? Why do you think people aren't able to hone in on their
fear,
expertise? As
fear,
fear? Okay.
fear, yeah. Fear, and it's not even fear of failure, it's actually fear of rejection. It's very primal because, as human beings for thousands of years, um, the one thing that will cause death is expulsion from the tribe. So if the tribe rejects you, you're going to die because humans only survive together.
Big brother, yes.
So basically fear of rejection, but it's like the 21st century. No one's going to throw you out of anything. I mean, it's a globalized world. You can go anywhere, do anything. So the fear is completely irrational. It has nothing to do with reality, but that's the thing that stops us, right? And so, and the interesting insight that I teach the people that I coach is that what you want in your core is to fit in and be with your tribe and belong, right, and not be rejected. The counterintuitive thing is that the best way to fit into your tribe is to stand out and serve them in a unique way, because then you're completely irreplaceable and you fit in a deeper level, right? So it's counterintuitive, but it's find what you can do, find the way you can do it that's unique, put it out in the world, package it, productize it, tweak it, tweak it, tweak it, tweak it. Eventually, you'll find your tribe, the tribe that wants exactly what you have to offer, exactly what you have to offer. So, Jay, what you're doing with the podcast is that you could just be a homeschooling single mom.
Okay.
But what you're doing is you're convening a community to talk about these things, all the angles, all the nuances. That's you. That's uniquely you. That creates value. What you also can do on the back end of that media piece where you just share the story is to create an elegant business model. So if people like you, they want to hear more of you, but then you say, hey, I have 2 or 3 ways that I can serve you beyond the podcast. Here are the ways. Let's talk. And that's how you create a personal brand.
Nice. I love this. Okay. Look, I love this because I often talk about passions and our passions that are kind of like they're drained from us sometimes with all of the societal pressures of, okay, I'm done with high school. Now I have to enter into the real world and I have to pay bills. So what's going to pay these bills is a regular 9 to 5, or working for someone, essentially, not entrepreneurship wise.
Mm-hmm.
I have several degrees, and my mother, even with all that I do now, with the expos, with the podcast, with the app, with everything that I do now, my mom is still asking me, why are you not in the classroom?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
why are you, she still wants me to have
Yeah,
a secure job. Yeah, a secure.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's when I'm looking like, okay, secure. She
Mm-hmm.
wants me to be secure in income financially.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, what about the passion? What about the movement? What about the mission that I feel like I'm fulfilling in what I'm doing? Because I feel
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled daily
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
with what I'm doing. I didn't feel that way in the classroom.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of us that are stuck in that secure place because like we have a family to feed, we have, bills to pay, we have these things that society says, oh, we need to do and do them now because if not, you're going to be on the streets. But how do we get to that place where it's like, oh, okay, step out? Because you said it, fear is what holds a lot of people back, and the mindset of, okay, but what if I fail, or what if I don't succeed, or what if nobody wants what I have? And it's like, but they do, they will. I always say there's 7 billion people in the world, y'all. It's over 7 billion now. Somebody's gonna want it. Somebody's gonna want it. Somebody needs it. Not even just wants it, they need it. So it's like, okay, how do we get people to feel encouraged?
Well, I think what you're doing is encouraging. What I'm doing is educating people that they can, and this is how. And if they like, you can literally get that kind of wisdom from me for zero if you subscribe to my newsletter.
Right.
You can get it for $9 a month if you subscribe to my paid deep dive. You can get it for a few $100 if you want a private consultation, for a few $1,000s if you want to accelerate and actually build a business. So if you're interested, you'll get access to people like me or you or hundreds of others who help people do these things. So it's not a matter of there's no way. And
Oh, there's always a way.
there's always a way. And it's just really how do you pay two ways for where you want to go, either with time or with money. You can pay with time and it'll take you 5 years to get there. You'll pay with money and get there in a month. Okay?
So
You
is this a
choose.
guarantee, Christian? Are we guaranteeing people these results?
Oh, when it comes to my program, if I made I'm not going to invite somebody into the offer that I don't feel confident can do well. So that I basically don't take you as a client. So after I talk to you, ask a lot of questions, that kind of thing. So if I make the offer, I say, look, I think you'll do well. It's still going to be, I can't do it for you, right? I'm going to coach you to do it. But I can guarantee is that if you do the work in about 9 weeks, you will have specifically an offer formulated that you can literally go and offer, and a business model, meaning this is how much you charge, this is how long it's going to take to scale, some the core things that you need for a business. Now, you still obviously need to go build it, but you'll have the things that are very, very specific and highly likely for you to make the money. I mean, somebody can make the money before they're done with the program, like the money they paid for the program, if they're intentional enough, you know. I'll give you an
Okay,
example. I'll give you an
please.
example.
Yeah.
It's because I've started several businesses and nonprofits and things like that. But so I have some experience. So when once you get the muscle and the principles, you can do it in other areas, and you can do it over and over again, right? So when I started Exponential, which is the coaching program, I had sort of I had the skill, the muscles for that, the entrepreneurial muscles, and the mindset. And I obviously had the expertise, so obviously I wouldn't have offered anything, right? I wouldn't feel like, okay, this is a sweet spot of that where I can really help people. So I create a really broad description of Exponential. This is what I'm going to do. It's going to take about 8 to 9 weeks. I'm going to take you from, if you have this problem, and you're this kind of person, I'll teach you how to do this and this, And I literally, there's no website, no materials, no modules, no teaching, no nothing. And I sort of write it up, and I'm like, okay. And you start with the brand that you have. Everybody has a brand. A brand is just reputation. That's all it is. A brand is a broadly accepted reputation by many people. That's a brand, right? So even if you have a brand where 100 people know you, with those 100 people, there's a few that are believe in you quite a bit, and maybe they want what you offer. So what I did is I just started texting a bunch of friends, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing this thing. It felt like it might be something up your alley that you'd be interested in. And would you be interested to be in the beta group? Meaning it's not cooked, it's not baked, but you know me well enough to know that what I can offer. If you feel like it's something that will help you, I will give you a discount, and you can give me feedback. So before I wrote the very first module of Exponential, I had $21,000 in the bank, prepaid. And then I built one module and taught it. And from the feedback that I got from the one module, I wrote the second module, and then the third, and that's how the program was born. So that's it. The
Okay.
the obstacle is not the obstacle is always inside of you.
Always.
It's always believing that you have the expertise, believing that people would even want that because it feels too familiar. It's too easy. Why would people pay Who am I? Who am I? It's all this accuser in your brain, right? And maybe it's some skills, right? Some skills to, okay, how can I package this so I can transmit this information and train somebody to do better their lives through the expertise that I have. That's it. But many people. So when I talk to someone and they want to be part of the program and I ask a bunch of questions, I would go, okay, I think you can do well, and I will make you the offer. It's up to you to execute, obviously, but the probability is very high that you can do well, you know?
Right. And that's what I was going to ask. Do you walk people? Because I know you provide the blueprint, you provide the model.
hmm
Do you walk them through this though?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
kind of babysit? Like, hey,
We
accountability, like be an
Yeah,
accountability
yeah.
coach.
So we do cohorts, we do one-on-ones, we do asynchronous. There's a module, a video module. There's assignments. So there's a step-by-step structured, very guided, very high support process. Yeah. So absolutely, that's the. I mean, our goal is raving fans, right? Most of the people that come work with me are people that were brought by somebody else.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
yeah,
How
yeah.
many people have you helped so far?
Maybe 100, something like that, formally. But
Okay.
before that, when that's what gives you a little bit of the confidence. I've coached people as a pastor and as a business leader, as a consultant. So you don't think these things are related, and they are. So that's sort of part of the process, and is understanding you can do way more. You're more capable than you think you are. You're more valuable than you think you are. So if
Indeed.
you, and you get you have to find those gold nuggets in your past, in your origin story, in the work that you've done before, and you have to sort of feed them into this one unified, beautiful mosaic, right? That you can now offer in a unique way. And most people just don't do that. It's so painful to do that because of that fear. And my point is, I started the business because it's the season of life that I'm in. I feel like that would be the highest level of service to people. But I've coached Olympic athletes, entrepreneurs, the whole everything in between, you know, for years and years and years. So the capabilities were always there, you know, but and that's what most people don't realize, is that the capabilities are 99% there almost always. But you don't know how to productize them, and you don't have the confidence to actually put them out into the world and see what the world says. I was shocked. I was genuinely, and I know this and I teach this, and I was genuinely shocked that my friends were like, yeah, here's $5,000. I'm like, what? I thought no one's going to say yes, basically, you know, and several people said yes, you know, so that's my point. It's like, it's not that you lack something. It's that you don't know how to put it together. You don't know how to organize the value, how to deliver the value, and how to even speak the words. This is how much I'm going to charge for this. Most people undercharge severely, severely.
I just had that conversation too. I'm like, ah,
So we're going into rabbit holes
yeah.
here, but yeah, but that's basically how it works.
I mean, but that's you said a lot already. I it's a I think of course it all starts in self mindset. Same thing with homeschooling. Parents have
Yeah,
to talk themselves into it. But it's so
yeah,
much
yeah,
outside noise also. Like I said, like if I was to go off of what my mother wanted or go off of, what I think my mom, my
totally.
dad, my family would feel to be normal or the smarter choice to make, then I would have held myself back. I would have continued to be in a system that wasn't serving me.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely is so originally, but that outside noise is so heavy
It's very
sometimes.
loud, yeah, and it's also different eras. I think it's eras. First of all, like your parents are a different generation.
Of course, them
I mean,
boomers, I call them
the the
boomers.
the industrial age, the industrial age, the way to do well is to fit in. Period. Like it's very little room, maybe in the fringes somewhere, if you're a movie star or painter or something, right? the artists of the business world, entrepreneurship. But for 90% of the people, it's you have to fit in. You have to be part of the machine. You have to be a cog in a machine. Could be a less valuable, more valuable cog. Those are the options. With the information age, you can build a factory yourself. You build your own machine because you can start a software company with a laptop and an internet connection. That's the information age. Now we're in the AI age, which is just starting, but it's going to change. It's going to be so fast. It's going to make you dizzy, right?
Right.
In the AI age, you will be wiped out.
Mhm.
There's going to be less accountants, lawyers, I kid you not, coders, designers, things that are white collar stuff. There's a lot of them are going to be replaced. Salespeople, 100%. You know, so in the AI age, the only way to create some sort of predictability and safety, so it's a safer thing to do, is to stand out. So it's the opposite of the industrial age.
How do they find their way back to that though? Because it's trained out of you. Like
It
you
is,
think
yeah,
about a
yeah.
kid and talking, I think about my girls. And we've been homeschooling for the last 5 years. So I have an 8 and 11-year-old. But their list of what they want to do is endless. Like it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I want to do this, 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 this. But I talked to like my nephew who just graduated from high school. And it's like, okay, well, what are you into? And he's like, I don't know.
I don't know, yeah.
like, what do you like? I don't know. Like
I
he
don't
doesn't,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
he doesn't know anymore. He doesn't remember. And so it's just like, it's literally programmed out of us sometimes
Yeah.
that like expertise or that passion, I always say passion, that we begin with is just gone by the time we finish and get to the adult age where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, what do I want to do now? But
Yeah.
I will say things are changing because of AI, because of technology, because of people seeing other people doing things and seeing, oh, okay, you can make this much money doing this, or you can, like you said, with a YouTube, like the plumber, okay, make a YouTube channel. I talked to someone who had sold everything and had retired from his job and everything, and he had bought an RV, big old RV. We talked in Jersey, and he was like, "Now I just got to figure out how to bring in some money." I said, and that's what I suggest. I said, make a YouTube channel. I said,
Yeah.
make a YouTube channel about what you're doing and just walk people through the RV life. I said, it will go. I promise you. And he's like, I didn't think of that. And it's like, yeah, no, that's where we're at. Like, that's
Yeah.
what people want
Mm-hmm.
to see. So how do we get back there?
Well, I think your pain of staying the same
Mm,
should be less than the pain of change, or the other way around, rather. So
right.
bottom line is it's all about pain. People are very reactive. So when you feel like in your mind, okay, I don't have a choice, I have to do this, then they go for it, right? It's too painful to stay the same. Too painful. I'll take this other pain of growing and exploring and going into unknown territory. I'll take that over the pain of staying the same. And that's when people
And
make that switch, you know.
that's heavy, Christian. Because when I resigned from teaching in 2021, when I tell you, like, I'm still pretty thin, but I was about 40 pounds lighter than what I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a bad space, like mentally, physically, and spiritually. I was not me at all because I had done so much assimilating into something that I knew wasn't right. I knew didn't feel good. I knew wasn't producing the results that we really need our kids to have. And I was
Yeah.
just I kept doing it because, like, like I got 2 kids. I have to provide for them. I have to do this. I have to do that. And this, I got these degrees. This is what I went to college for. Like, all this stuff. And it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, but I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. And so when the shutdown happened, it was like, oh, y'all telling me like to go for it.
Yeah.
I felt like, there was like I've escaped.
But what happens is with successful people, with professionals, right, of any kind, is sunk cost in status, right? So you went to college for this. You're a professional. You're getting grown up money, right?
Right.
But you're miserable, and that's what keeps you. It keeps you enslaved, status. So and but those same skills can be repackaged, reproductized into something else. That's sort of my point, right? So, for example, I was doing economics. I have a master's degree in economics. I worked for like a year, and it was in my 20s, so it's probably too early for me to even get a taste for it. I hated it. I started doing music. Well, the economics degree, the love for understanding how economics works stayed forever. And it helped me in everything: show business, entrepreneurship, everything. So I didn't pursue that career, but the skill stayed and became repurposed, right? So I did music for a while. I did really, really well. Really, really well. I produced other bands. I learned how to move a crowd, how to be on stage, how to write songs, how to feel culture so that millions of people can respond to it, how to be in front of a camera, how to shoot and edit and direct a story, a music video. I didn't stay in that business. After a while. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. Well, guess what I did later? I had a marketing company. I had a music video production company in LA for a few years. I did big videos because I had the skills. You can repurpose anything. So I was a bivocational pastor for many, many years. What does that do? You're with people in their mess day in and day out for a decade or two. You know how well you can train people after that? You're like the people whisperer. Why? Because of reps. You're in front of people in their drama, in their heartache, in their joy, in their celebration, in their loss, over and over and over again. You're a perfect coach. You're overqualified to be a coach when you're a pastor for a while. So now combine all of that, and what do I have? I have a coaching program I know how to guide people. I know how to read people, how to motivate people. I know how to create a personal brand. I know how to do design, web, video, how to tell a story, how long it's going to be. I know how to run a podcast, how to talk to people. I know the economics, right? I know how to create a business model that can give you a living. All of that came from previous careers and previous experiences and skills.
Skill.
Yeah.
Love that.
So you combine them into something that's perfect for you in this season of life. And that's how you do it.
Where do we find you? How do people tap into this level of expertise?
Well, if you are sort of generally interested and just want some inspiration every once in a while, just go to christianrayflores.com. It's my newsletter, right? It's called the XE, Exponential Edge. And I have a podcast and a newsletter, and it drops twice a week. One is free, the other one's for paid subscribers. It's either free or cheap, and you'll get good stuff. And then if you feel like, oh, this guy has has the answers for me, then go to exponential.life. Exponential Life is the coaching. Exponential Edge is the podcast. So exponential spelled without the E, starts with an X, the cool way, .life. Yeah. And there's actually a really good assessment. There's a scorecard there that you can get for free, which basically tells you answer a bunch of questions and it'll tell you exactly how ready you are to start a personal brand.
I love that. I have two more questions before I let you go. So with all that you do, with all that you're helping people build brands, like you're pouring a lot out.
Yeah.
How do you self-care?
Well, that's one of the things I teach, actually. It's like I'm never burned out, ever. If I go on vacation, I don't go on vacation because I need rest. I go on vacations just to reset and to think, and celebrate. So, but that's literally the first thing we teach. In the first week, we teach you how to have a morning routine, how to do time management, the rhythms of life that are daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. That gives you sort of this perfect combo of being creative, peaceful, high performance, basically. We call it fuel, the fuel you run on. So you either, if you want to be a high performance person, you have to run on high performance fuel. Like a car, right? Like a performance car always goes premium fuel. You feed a performance car bad fuel or medium or low fuel, it's going to not perform well. So that's So we
So
figured that
what's your fuel?
my
What's your
fuel,
fuel?
well, it's I have a for not amateurs, so that's a little bit condescending, but for beginners, okay, that's a better word. For beginners, I teach them to do 20 minutes of contemplation, and it could be prayer, contemplation, walking, journaling. There's all kinds of ways to do it. 20 minutes of physical activity. You lift weights, you walk, you run, and 20 minutes of mastering a new skill. You do it the first thing in the morning, every single morning, and your life will change forever. My process, because it also includes creation and writing, it's 3 hours. So that's my every morning, 3 hours. So we started about almost an hour ago, which was right after my 3 hour prep time that happened.
Okay.
So every day I do it.
Right. And three things you would want people to leave with. If they didn't hear anything else in this conversation, what's three things you want them to leave this with?
You have more value than you think you do. You have more choices than you think you do. And aim high, don't aim for the middle. Most people aim for the middle because of safety and fear, just like we discussed. And because of that, it's the worst choice you can possibly make. It's counterintuitive because you think it's safer, and it's not safer because the middle is always crowded because everybody's there.
No, the path less chosen
That's
is the
exactly
clear
it.
one. That's the one that's all free and you could skip and jump and do some
Yeah.
flips down there if you want.
Aim high.
Yes.
Aim high. It's less crowded. Yeah. It's actually easier than you think.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Was
welcome.
that three?
I
That
think
was
so.
great. Okay, good. Well, I appreciate you, Christian. This was very enlightening and energizing. Like you made me feel good about, my choices.
That's great, Jay. I'm glad.
Yes, yes. So thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Because like I said, this is a conversation that I have with a lot of parents. They are trying to figure out how to make homeschooling work while still providing for their family.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
we
yeah.
have to do that. Like it has to be a thing.
Yeah, it's very
So
important.
it is a thing. We have to eat. So
Not only eat, but it also, if you don't have the freedom with time and place, and your homeschooling is more restricted.
yeah.
So if you want to amplify your homeschooling, you have to figure out choices with time and energy and geography, even. So
And you
yeah,
want it to be fun. Like you don't
yeah,
want it to be
yeah,
feel restricted. You don't want it to feel
exactly,
like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, like no, we can't do this.
exactly,
I know
exactly.
my girls she always my oldest specifically always talking about our budgets. Like
Hmm. Oh,
our
really?
budget. Yeah, because I always let them know like we are on the budget. Like it's just
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah.
things that they're doing way more than the average adult and
Oh,
have seen
absolutely.
way more than the average adult. So
Yeah,
all
yeah.
means we gonna budget. Like we're gonna keep on budgeting. But
That's great.
she's so funny.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, I appreciate the work that you're doing. And I
Thanks, Jay.
do hope that parents do check you out and see what you have to offer, even if it is just a free newsletter.
Yeah, yeah,
Whatever it is, just step out of that comfort zone and know that you can do this. I feel like if you found your way to my podcast, you have some kind of level of thinking of I can do this. And you just
yeah,
have to, you gotta feed that. You gotta feed that energy. You gotta go with that feeling and shut off that outside noise. So that, like I said, that noise be loud. But shut it all off because you got this. I promise you got this. You
yeah.
got this, you
That's
got
true.
this.
That's true.
Just
Very,
keep
very
going.
true. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
you're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Of course. And homeschool your kids.
Hmm.